It's bad enough that both Young Thug and Gunna have been arrested and put behind bars, but what's worse is that the rappers are nearly guaranteed to spend years in prison over serious charges. Stick around and see why the arrest of Gunna and Thug is worse than you can imagine. Anyone who's paid attention to Young Thug knows that this isn't his first time facing serious time behind bars. Since back in 2017, Thug was hit with a total of 8 felonies and was able to avoid major jail time. Although the same thing can't be said about Gunna because his reputation became questionable after a video of him snitching on an episode of Crime Stoppers was found and posted all over Twitter. Regardless of Thug and Gunna's reputation in the streets, neither will be prepared for the time they are going to face in jail. Young Thug and Gunna have been indicted by the feds for RICO charges, which for those who don't know what RICO charges are, they're the most serious crime that a rapper can be charged with next to murder. RICO charges are aimed to take down a gang for organized crime, and they only need to have a few members found guilty of a pattern of crimes. Then the rest of the gang members will be guilty of RICO because of the association. In Young Thug and Gunna's case, they'll be charged along with 26 other members for being part of YSL Records, which prosecutors say are a gang. The feds are trying to charge YSL for committing a series of crimes starting all the way back from 2013, and several YSL members are being accused of different murders and shootings. The feds have been eyeing Young Thug and Gunna the most, and they're gonna stop at nothing until both of them are permanently behind bars, which might end up happening. Luckily for Gunna, things aren't looking too bad for him, since the only evidence the feds seem to have on him is that he has a YSL chain and his songs have violent lyrics, which basically describes every rapper who is in a rap group. Gunna can easily say that the image he puts on is just for music. He's not a part of any gang, and he turned himself into the police so the court might be more lenient with him. Sadly though, the same thing can't be said for Young Thug, because the feds are headhunting for him. Tons of police cars came through to raid Young Thug's house and arrest him, and Young Thug somehow managed to make his situation even worse for himself. Officers found guns and drugs inside of Thug's house, so the rapper was slapped with an additional 7 felony charges on top of his RICO case. With how things are looking, it'll nearly be impossible for Young Thug to avoid major prison time because he's being painted as the leader of YSL, so the charges and evidence are a lot harsher for him. One of the charges has Young Thug being accused of involvement in a murder of YSL op named Donovan Thomas Jr. Police say Young Thug rented a car which was used in the murder of Donovan, and the feds say that this is a clear act of racketeering. But don't think that his bad luck stops here. Since Thug has apparently been putting in work for the streets, prosecutors claim that Young Thug gave permission for 2 YSL members to put a hit on YFN Lucci while he was behind bars. If this is true, then Thug is really out here moving like El Chapo rather than a rapper. This isn't the only evidence against Young Thug, because prosecutors intend to use his lyrics, videos, and social media against him in court, and evidence is looking pretty bad for Thug. It might be some of the worst self-snitching a rapper has done, since one of the pieces of evidence is when Thug tagged YFN Lucci on Instagram and posted, "If I ain't like what you do for your mother and kids, I would have been killed you." Young Thug posting this on social media might be one of the dumbest things a rapper has done. It's like he was just asking for the feds to lock him up, and it looks like it's coming back to haunt him. Besides social media, his lyrics might be just as bad, since one piece of evidence from his song Just How It Is says, "Last dude who tried me almost got popped in Linux. Ask the cops, ask the detectives, they all know the business. Gave the lawyer close to $2 million, he handled all the killings." Thug's self-snitching is so impressive, you'd think he could tell the future or something. But aside from mountains of self-snitching, evidence against him, it would seem that YSL had an informant in their group. Cops somehow managed to get records of private conversations between Young Thug and several YSL members, and they allegedly talked about beating up and killing their ops. It looks like Thug is gonna have to check his inner circle and see who is and isn't a real one. Aside from evidence the feds have, the court dates for Gunna and Thug are still unknown at this time. Although Young Thug was denied bail, so it gives you an idea of how bad his situation is. We'll keep you updated on the latest rap news. We'll see you guys in the next video.